Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this pendant. Doughnut gemstone today. This one I made earlier. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this pendant, including links to my Etsy shop, Facebook page and Instagram. So please come over and share your finished work. I'd love to see all your work made from my designs. Please mention me, a Kelly Jones Design, when you share your work online. Thank you. To make this pendant, you'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and I've cut 4 lengths at 9 inches, that's 23 centimetres. You need 0.315mm, that's 28 gauge weaving wire. You can go one size up or down on either of these measurements. Put my weaving wire on a bobbin. This stops it flying around as you're working with it. I find it a lot easier to work with a bobbin. I've put a link in the description below on where I buy my bobbins from. If you don't have one, you can just cut lengths as you go. Today we're using a little Doughnut gemstone. This is 30mm. You can use any size stone you want. Just remember to adjust your wire lengths and your weave repeats as you go. Tools. I've got quite a lot of tools here today and you don't necessarily need all of these tools. I've got my bail pliers, my tweezer nose pliers, wire cutters, round nose pliers and my nylon pliers. Now nylon pliers, if you don't have these, it doesn't matter because you can just use your fingers. I love using these, so I always use these. And bail pliers, if you don't have bail pliers, then that's fine. You could just use something small like, I'll sometimes use a paintbrush, just something this size to bend your wires over when we get to the part where you have to do that. So, essentially really, you only need your favourite pliers, your cutters and your round nose pliers. So to find our starting point, if you find the centre of your wires, position your stone right in the centre of the wires, and we're going to start just to the left of the stone. So that's where we're going to start weaving. So take your weaving wire and we're going to start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. And then we'll wrap around the bottom wires twice. Come up between those bottom wires and wrap around the middle 2 wires twice. Come up between those middle wires. Wrap around the top 2 wires twice. Then come up between the bottom 2 wires. Wrap around the middle 2 wires twice. Come under the bottom wire. We wrap around the bottom 2 wires twice. Come up between the bottom 2 wires. We go around those middle 2. We do that twice. Come up between those middle 2. Go around the top 2 twice. So you can see the repeat. come up between the bottom two, go around the middle two, under the bottom wire and around the bottom two wires. So you want to just put another repeat on that, so we end up with 3. So come up between those bottom two wires and do another repeat of that. There's 2 repeats there, we just want to add another one. So I've done that extra repeat. Now we're going to work on just the 2 bottom wires. So wrap 3 times around the bottom wire. And 3 times around both wires. And we'll repeat that 8 times. 3 wraps around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around both wires. So I've done 8 repeats. Cut that weaving wire. And I'm going to cut that weaving wire as well. I'm going to turn it over. And now we're going to do 8 repeats on this side. So take your weaving wire. And we'll go 3 wraps around the bottom wire. Like we did on the other side. And 3 wraps around both wires. And we'll repeat that 8 times. So we've got a total of 8 repeats on both sides. So I've done 8 repeats on that side as well. Cut that tail end off. And now we're going to shape these wires to curve around and then bend back up. You want to do that on both sides. Curve around and then bend straight back up. So you've got this shape in the middle. And I'm back on the front again now. I've turned it over again, so this is the front of the weave on this side. And that hole that we've made needs to go onto the back of the stone like that. That's how it's going to sit against the stone. This is the back. So now we're going to work across all 4 wires and do what we did for the other side. So bring your wires back together. Now my wire's at the top here, so I'm just going to bring it down by wrapping around a wire on this side just to pull it together. And now my wire's in position to start. So I've just wrapped around that second wire and brought it underneath the bottom wire. So now we go around the bottom 2 wires, between those bottom 2, around the middle 2, it's hard to hold it because it all does keep moving about, up between those middle 2 wires, around the top 2 wires, up between the bottom two and around the middle two wires. Underneath the bottom wire and around those bottom two wires. And keep going as you did for the other side. So we want 3, like we did over here. So I've done those 3 there. And you must keep pushing your weaves together as you go. Keep it all nice and tidy. So now take your weaving wire and go up between the bottom two wires and go 3 times around the second wire. Then come back up between those bottom two wires again and go 3 times around both of those middle wires. We are going to be going across the 4 wires, so you don't want to bend any wires out of the way, so keep them all there for now. But we're going to repeat that 3 times, 3 wraps around the second wire and 3 wraps around the two middle wires. So you want 3 repeats. So I've done 3 repeats. Now you want to come back up between the bottom 2 wires and do 3 wraps again around that bottom wire. Now we're going to go around the bottom 2 wires twice. Bring your wire back, up the back, over the top wire, and go over the top 2 wires. So you're going around the top 2 wires. Go around those twice. That keeps it all held together. And then we come back up between those bottom 2 wires and go around that second wire again 3 times. So I want you to repeat this 3 times. 3 wraps around your second wire, 3 wraps around both wires, both the middle wires. So you do that 3 times, and then you go around the 2 outer wires. And you want to repeat that, so you've got 3 repeats. So I've done 3 repeats of that. 1, 2, 3. And I've finished with 3 wraps around that second wire. Now you take your weaving wire, leave 10 inches, cut that. Now we're going to do the same for this side. So you want to do exactly what you've done here on this side. So it doesn't have to be a mirror image. As you can see, this is now upside down. That's fine, we'll just work this the right way. So start with 3 wraps around your second wire and then 3 wraps around both your middle wires, and do the 3 repeats of this that we did on this side, exactly on this side. So I've done 3 repeats on this side. That tail end off there. I'll give it a little pull first so that it's nice and tight around the wire. So that's what we've got so far. So turn it over, and you can see through the hole that where the wire has to be at the back. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend these weaves over top and bottom. We're going to do this with the bow pliers, or you need something so that you get it the same size top and bottom. So it's best not to just freehand it. So get it in position. I'm going to go for that third size on the pliers. So I want it about there. So we're going to bend it around the first repeat. Take this weave and we're going to bend it, hold it firmly at the back so we don't misshape the back. We're going to bend it over to the right. And then turn the whole piece over, around. And we're going to do the same with the other side. So again, it's going to be on that first repeat, so when you do it all in the same place, and you want it all to be the same size, it needs to be exactly the same as the other side. So I'm going to pinch it and do it on the same size, the third one, on that first repeat line there. And then holding the back as we did for the other side, take the weave, make sure you're only grabbing those wires. I'm going to bend it over to the right. We can match all that up now in the next step. Okay, next step. So our wires all come over to the right. I'm going to leave this wire here. I'm going to take the rest of the wires. So now working across these 3 wires, I've already got 3 wraps around the middle wire. I'm going to go 2 wraps around the bottom 2 wires, and then up between those bottom 2 wires and go 3 wraps around that middle wire, then come up between those bottom 2 again, and we'll go 2 wraps around the top 2 wires. And I'll repeat that just once more. So I've repeated that, and I've finished with 3 wraps around that middle wire. It is sparkly in the sunshine. So we need to do this now for the other side. So it's bent around to the right. We'll leave this wire here, just that one wire, and then we weave across these 3. and we do 2 repeats like we did on the other side. So we've got 3 wraps around the middle wire already, so we'll wrap twice around the bottom 2, 3 wraps around the middle wire, twice around the top 2, and we'll do that a few times. So I've done a few repeats of that, same as we did for the other side. So we're doing the same on both sides. So leaving this wire where it is, because we're going to cut that off and put a little curl on that. Take these 3 and pulling the weave down on pushing it together so it's nice and compacted, and we'll bend these over this way. We're going to leave this top one behind, and we're going to post these other 2 through the stone, and we'll do that now, otherwise we're going to have a load of wires everywhere and it's going to get really confusing. So I'm just going to lift this up a little bit and direct these wires, because I'm going to put them through the middle there. Totally missed. It's got to go through the hole at the back. That's it. See, I did get it wrong. I just normally don't show you. So putting that back in the middle where we want it to be, holding it in place because I've bent it a bit now. I think I can cut off that weaving wire too, so that's gone in far enough. So I bent the wires over to this side just to hold it in place for now and to get all them wires out the way. These 2 are going to go off to be little curls, and that goes over there. So we're going to do the same for the other side. Try to do this side a bit more successfully. So we bent it over to the right, leave that wire up there, and then we scoop this around this way like that. And you've got to keep your stone in the middle. The top part's misshaped a bit there. You just got to make sure that stone stays in the middle because mine keeps moving over. So we can cut this weaving wire off now. Leaving this wire here, so we've got the 2 outer wires we're leaving behind and the 2 middle wires now, and I'm going to hold the top in place this time. Bit of a disaster last time. We're just going to post through the middle of the stone and through the middle hole at the back. So this pulls this way and this pulls this way, and you end up with that shape going through the donut. So it is a bit fiddly. Everything I make these days seems to be fiddly. Try and match up the curves so it all looks very similar. So when you're happy with the shape, have a look at the back and make sure the back's nice and straight as well. These are all going to be little curls, so I'm just going to cut the wires off. And the back, these wires have to wrap around the weave now. So getting the weave nice and central on the stone, and you want to lift the weave away from the stone a little bit so you've got a little gap there. And leave enough length to be able to wrap it around. And I'm going to use round nose pliers. Take the wires and bend them around the weave. I've missed on that one side. And I won't tighten it up fully until I'm happy with the shape. So I've wrapped them around a bit, and I'll do the other side because I might pull it too tight on that one side. So do the same again. Pull the weave away from the stone a little. Cut the wires but leave yourself enough length to wrap it around. Try and get both of them through this time. So I've got back to the first side. Whoops, try and tighten that up a bit. Yep, so I can flatten all those down now. Clip them off. Now to finish off these curls at the front here. little bit of length off them, I think. Do the same for the outer ones, going the other way. And there we go, finished. It's a bit fiddly when you come to place the wires through the middle, but the rest of it is pretty straightforward. When you're showing your work online, please mention me, Kelly Jones Design, and please don't show any pictures of the back. I'd like to keep this design just for this video. So if you want your friends to make this pendant, please send them over to my video. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks to everybody who has. See you in the next video. Bye.